Okay, let me start
And
streaming.
start streaming.
Yep.
And intro.
Here we go. That's it.
Well, there it is.
Left us with the hamster dance, which, if you know your movies, that's actually the rooster from Robin Hood, the Disney Robin Hood,
Oh,
furry
God.
Robin Hood. That's the rooster singing as he strums his little guitar thing.
Well, welcome to the list episode of the Real Super Geeks podcast on this, the 15th of January, 2022. Our second episode of the new year. Welcome, and we're glad to have you. Hope you're all having a fantastic week, and let's get right into it. And I really gotta, I gotta figure out how to turn the volume down on those things. Good grief! And hey, it actually works. Justin is in hiding tonight. No, really, he's taking a bit of a health break, so we wish him a speedy recovery.
It's not just that. He's now currently covered in a whole bunch of winter weather as well.
Yeah, that too. And his upstairs neighbor decided to flood the bathroom and drop it on his head.
Yeah.
Is this the new place or the place he's supposed to be moving out of?
Still the old place.
Okay. That sucks.
All right. Once again, this is the Real Super Geeks podcast. My name is Ross, the Eyebrows of Doom. Live, love, play himself. And if you're watching me on Twitch, you're already in the right place. Twitch.tv/live_love_play. Greg, how you doing this week?
Doing good, Ross. It's looking to be a fun show tonight. For all my viewers, if you're watching, you're also in the right place at twitch.tv/mongoose88. And we have a fun show in store for you guys. We have a lot of fun topics and some funny stuff.
Yes, indeed. And Son, where are you this week and how you doing?
Well, I will leave all of the gory details out of it, but let's just say I slept all day after relief from a boil, so yeah.
Ooh.
As for it still being January, so it is still the month of the gingerbread dragons. So
Nice.
Gingerbread dragon.
There we go.
Nice. And where can people find you?
That's right here on my little moniker, twitch.tv/Sunseal.
All right. We got a lot to cover, so let's jump in. First off, our review of Star Trek Prodigy. This episode was an interesting one, and for a rapid-fire summary, after recovering from the shocking revelation of last week that Captain Chakotay and crew were indeed part of the Prodigy. We don't know where they went. We don't know what happened to them, but the mystery of the ship and her origin continues. But the kids find a little distraction as they have discovered the transporter and are gleefully experimenting with it throughout the ship. In the course of their journey, they encounter a distress call. And upon hailing them, Dull recognizes a ruse and confronts the captain, his adopted mother, a Ferengi woman. We were wrong. We were all completely wrong. And happily so.
A clothed female Ferengi daemon.
Well, at this point in the future, that all that is well behind us, thank God.
True.
And oddly enough, her lobes are male size, so that'll be interesting if they end up talking about it at some point. Anyway,
I think my biggest thing is they couldn't call her Pell like they wanted to, but I'm pretty sure they wanted to. Because if you remember your DS9, Pell was the female Ferengi imitating all the males. So.
And Greg with the sub. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
And I've got to wait for the jaunty, celebratory synthesizer public domain music to go through. If you guys are watching on YouTube and Facebook, you're not hearing it. I apologize, but there it is. Pell immediately invites everyone on. Wait.
Not Pell.
Not Pell. Pell struck me as a bit more, a little more moral than this Ferengi turned out to be.
Definitely.
Not, but yes, but no.
Anyway, she invites them aboard. Dahl shows them around his former home, and immediately they get to scheming. She needs a special crystal, knows exactly where to find it and what they can trade for it in exchange for a cloaking device, something that the crew definitely wants in order to stay hidden from the diviner. And bonus, it runs on the chimerium crystals that they'd been spending their entire lives mining and had a small stockpile of on the ship. Interesting side note. This is not the first appearance of chimerium crystals in Star Trek, albeit the first time we've seen it in official canon. It was originally a creation of author David Mack for one of his Star Trek Starfleet's Corps of Engineers novels. So once again, we've got beta canon stuff being pulled into main canon. And now a very big part of this series. And in the book, it was described as a substance that obscured any and all sensor readings, meaning any kind of cloaking device that is based on these crystals is a perfect cloak.
Which would also explain why the diviner was able to hide a fucking mining megastructure full of orphans in one fucking asteroid.
Not only that, but why the protostar was so well hidden. Remember, when they found it, it was in a cavern completely just with these crystals everywhere. No sensors could find it, which is why it was hidden, was probably why it was hidden for so long.
Which is why so many people had spent so many fortunes looking for it.
Right, for decades, apparently.
It's kind of like that northeastern treasure that people can't ever seem to fucking find.
So, tentatively, Dahl goes through that, although he clearly has misgivings. Wow. They are to make contact with a... We got squats. You
got to hydrate too, Ross.
I already did.
Okay.
I held up the drink and chugged. Anyway. They go to make contact with a pre-warp civilization. And much to Janeway's misgivings and stern warning against, they are immediately met with a cycle of sand. The very desert that they land upon rebels against them. They're able to figure out how to communicate and are led into a great structure. They go below and are met with these wispy beings that are able to control the sand and the soil around them through harmonic resonance, channeled through these crystals. But they discover that these crystals are exactly how they're able to do it, and to take one would to bring everything down. And the crew and Dahl says no, they can't go through with it. But I can't remember the Ferengi woman's name.
Oh God.
It's the name of one of the ship types. I swear.
And now it's my turn to do squats. Thank you, Leah. Well, she gets impatient and doesn't appreciate the song that was given as a return gift, even though the gift they gave them was, what was it, a Ferengi spit platter. So she just starts grabbing at any and all crystal she can find.
Her name is Nandi.
Nandi, thank you. Daemon Nandi.
See, and that's isn't, I swear that's one of the Ferengi ship types.
Maybe. Well, Leah, what would the fun in that be? She says you could have warned me. So a fight ensues as the structure begins to collapse around it. They're able to retrieve all but one of the crystals and return them to their place, but Nandi gets away with the last one after revealing that she also stole all of their chimerium. Your shields were down. It was a gift. Just really driving home how terrible a being she is, but then leaving with one final stinger that Doll wasn't kidnapped and taken to the mines. She sold him.
He got raid.
So now we have 2 kids with parental issues.
Welcome
But not all is in vain. As she's getting away with this final crystal, she realizes that Doll had stuck a communicator badge on the crystal, and they were able to beam it out and return it to its place. But although they corrected their mistake, Janeway is quite pissed that they got themselves into that position in the first place, violating the Prime Directive. And I gotta say, these kids are really speed running the Star Trek mistakes. They violated the Prime Directive in the first season. It usually took 2 or 3 for the other series to do that.
Actually, Star Trek did it in what? God, what was it? And not Encounter Farpoint, but the next one with Justice. They did it in Justice.
Let's be absolutely fucking clear here. They did not violate the Prime Directive. Nandi did whatever the hell Nandi did, and they spent the entire fucking episode correcting said mistake. That's not true. A violation of the Prime Directive.
Rendering assistance like that was not a violation.
They weren't rendering assistance, though.
Well,
they went to that planet with the intention of making a trade with a species who had never encountered extraterrestrial life before. They went to that planet and they were not warp capable. They had no means of leaving their planet and exploring the galaxy. They should have been left alone and at least observed.
Leia made the point that they're not Starfleet, so how can they violate something they're not supposed to follow?
But they're on a Starfleet ship.
Correct.
Janeway is a Starfleet AI, and Janeway is the only link they have to really maintain and operate their ship.
True. And I mean, yeah, obviously it could look bad, like if Starfleet ever goes back to that planet, but
well, yeah,
it won't necessarily look bad because Starfleet is the insignia on which the crystal re-arrived.
Yeah, it doesn't. They don't exactly get the comm badge back.
But we also don't know how these beings will respond to that and how they we don't know how they will react ultimately. Janeway is right. The trust in extraterrestrial life is now broken.
True. They were taken to, basically how she put it is that they viewed it as they were taken advantage of by the first contact with an alien race. So that's what they're going to believe from there on out.
Right. It's if they ever recover from it, it's going to take a long time. So who knows what will happen? Who knows how they've altered the path these people are going to take, and that's the core takeaway from it.
I love this philosophical drama Star Trek gives us.
Yeah, I know.
And the worst part is it's only coming from the kids' show.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Lower Decks season 2 finale gave us a philosophical dilemma.
Yeah, gave us a very good Lower Decks, and it's the 2 animated shows that are really pushing the boundary of Star Trek, like I've always said it would.
Making up for the mistakes of TOS.
Ouch.
The mistakes of TOS, the mistakes of TNG, the mistakes of Voyager.
TNG made no mistakes. It was perfect. You bite your tongue.
Season 1 and 2.
Code of Honor. Thank you.
Code of fucking Honor.
I raise you Sub Rosa.
Hey, I will take Sub Rosa over any other bad episode. Sub Rosa was one of the most sex-positive episodes of Star Trek, period.
It's true. Technically, it's true.
I
mean,
anyway,
look, for all the shit that people give Prophet and Lace, that is probably the most trans-positive thing we've ever seen out of Star Trek ever. It's like all these people who speculate whether or not Uhura is a trans character in the original series, and don't ask me where that argument even fucking comes from.
That was about to be my question.
Same
Because
here.
hell if I fucking know. But it's like, even if Uhura was a trans character, she would always be post-transition, simply from the fact that, look at what Dr. Bashir says. All it takes for him is literally 24 to 48 hours, and Quark would have been fully a woman at that point.
True.
I always thought of Dax as the paragon of the most transpositive character.
That's what I thought too. With Dax,
It's not that she's a transpositive. She is. Dax is not a trans character in the way that you would think of a trans character being.
Right.
Okay, right.
You know, you're thinking of from the standpoint of constantly being different people, and that's more along the lines of what some people call gender fluidity.
The meme that goes around the most is when Kor meets Jadzia for the first time. Curzon, my old friend. It's Jadzia now. Jadzia, my old friend.
Yeah.
Klingons like that. They don't care. They hear Dax. You're Dax. There you go.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the episode itself. Greg, what did you think in all?
Okay, so I enjoyed it. We got our first filler episode, kind of in a way, because it didn't have so much to do with like the overarching theme of them running from the Diviner. They're away from the Diviner, in a sense. So they're just kind of getting their feet wet, and of course they come across the Ferengi ship, and Dahl's like you said, Dahl sees right through. It's like, oh, hi, Mom, and then everybody's like, what?
Sorry to interrupt, but real quick.
Yeah,
I've got Awesome Games Done Quick on the other screen, and they just hit $3 million for the Prevent Cancer Foundation.
that took
Nice.
30 minutes.
I'll go into more about that later on in the podcast, but it just happened, and I gotta give a oh yes! All right, please continue.
So, for the episode, for it being half an hour, there's not a lot, but I like the way that there's like, yeah, we shouldn't be here, like the whole thing, and of course, I think it was Rock Talk, not the Death Planet again, or the Murder Planet. And I love that the initial thing was like, let's test it on Murph. Murph's indestructible. I'm like, oh, poor Murph.
And then almost entire minute of Murph just sliding down the cockpit glass. Like, holy shit.
It's like, oh my god, and it's like, it's okay, so we know Murph can literally survive almost anything. Photon grenades and space. It's like, I don't think he can die. And that's great. So
I wonder if Murph was indigenous to that asteroid.
I don't know.
Well, it's possible because they're not able to like really scan him at all.
And he was surviving in the vacuum of space.
Rockruff, give Prodigy a watch. If that's gonna be your first foray into Trek, watch Prodigy first, and go from there. But so when they go down to the planet, of course they're like, they get sucked in, and I like that Gwen is the cool-headed one, saying like, we need to be careful, this and that, and then of course Nandi just being not even a female, just being your atypical Ferengi, quoting the rules of acquisition, and never put profit above friendship, never put friendship above profit. And of course, this goes and takes the crystal and so forth. But I did like Dahl's quick thinking. With what he did with the combat, showed what he learned from the Kobayashi Maru.
Oh yeah,
in a very big way. So I was really happy with that, because like when she got the crystal, and I'm like, they're not gonna let her get away with this. Like, there's no way. And sure enough, Dahl's like, no, there's my comm badge, and then beam it away. I was like, thank you. We can't let her win. I did like the reveal that Dreadnought was the one who boarded the Protostar.
Yeah.
And my theory is that I kind of had this with Justin. Chakotay and the crew were probably killed. And because like they have no evidence that Chakotay is alive, granted the data banks and computers locked up. But my thing is, I'm pretty sure Dreadnought probably killed Chakotay after he probably wiped Janeway's memory or something like. Because like I said, I stand by the whole. He wiped the computer, told Janeway, "Hey, your base programming is on your training program," so on and so forth. But with Dreadnought being there and breaking through the bridge, yeah, that's gonna be like that's the big reveal that he was there and probably killed Chakotay.
That makes Dreadnought quite old.
Very old, and it wouldn't surprise me least because they did what 17 years ago. It's like so with the diviner at old at that point that he needed a progeny, and that they've been after the protostar for what seems to be years at that point. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Dreadnought is as old as Spock.
Well, it also adds an interesting dynamic between Dreadnought and the diviner, because Dreadnought always seems like seems secondary to the diviner. He let him lead. He let him take charge, and the diviner was giving orders to him.
But well, remember, Dreadnought is and always has been an enforcer character.
Yeah,
and he is the enforcement arm, and that even comes into play with the discussion that we had in the last episode. Not that we had, but that we had between him and the diviner in the last episode. Dreadnought is the enforcer for the Order as well. And he seems like he straight up told the diviner, you're not supposed to have offspring of any kind. It's against the rules of the Order.
And Dreadnought seems very content with his position. He may challenge the diviner, but at the same time he sits there and he's going to obey the diviner at any cost. Because like you said, like Sun said, you're not supposed to have offspring. What does he do? Helps him have an offspring.
Unless he's unless he's giving off this obedience air to get something that he wants.
Yeah, that too.
I still see. I don't think that's the case. I think that Dreadnought has this loyalty to the Order above all else, and I've seen some people talk about that it looks like there's this kind of old relationship, like a long existing relationship between the diviner and Dreadnought, and I don't think that's the case. I think the case is more along the lines of Dreadnought sees the determination and the willingness to find the protostar in the diviner, and so goes along with the creation of progeny, because it should lead to them finally finding, or to the Order finding the protostar. I think above all else, Dreadnought is loyal to the Order and whatever the hell that is.
I also don't think that they killed Chakotay. I think in the event of a ship's boarding, especially if the bridge is compromised, Chakotay would quickly lock down the computer system. Right. So they need him, and his codes, or possibly even biometrics to get the ship unlocked again.
Yeah, which explains why Janeway's memory was locked away, because I firmly believe that's one that's going to be obvious, that he just wiped her memory or locked it away.
For a failsafe of sorts.
Right.
So we still have so many questions, and we're not going to get all the answers to these questions for a while, considering we know that the Prodigy is going to take another break.
Well, see, there's actually two big things that happened to this episode that I don't think anybody caught.
Let's hear it.
And I don't. And the interesting thing is, I don't even think the kids realized that it was happening in front of them. Well, the first one anyway, and the first one is. This is another case of the tricorders causing the problem to begin with. When they're on the planet, their tricorders are giving off harmonic resonance to scan, and the entities probably saw that as a threat initially.
Gwen pointed that out, though.
I think you're correct.
She didn't point out that it was the tricorders causing the issue. She pointed out that they wanted to look like they weren't a threat, and then realized that she could manipulate a harmonic resonance to create something more peaceful for them. Not that the tricorder scans were the thing that was causing it.
But she did realize that it was the tricorders that would placate them.
Right. And so that was the first thing. The second thing is, I think this is going to be another one of those. See, if you had simply just fucking communicated with each other, we could solve this problem already. Because now Janeway is pissed at Dahl, and nobody between them is going to communicate that she literally just witnessed the guy who was trying to blow holes in a fucking ship at the beginning of the whole thing. Remember, like, he was on the ship literally trying to blow holes as they were trying to escape, right? If she's now at the point where she doesn't trust Daw and turns herself off, she's the only one knows that this character is who tried to board, and she's too pissed off and distrustful because of what the hell just went on to even talk to them about it. And I guarantee you it's going to cause more problems.
I'm not sure if that's what's happening there. I think her comment at the end there is more like a teacher scolding her students, albeit after making a very bad mistake.
She's
but
very much under the impression that sorry, Russ, she thinks that they're all still Starfleet. She's very much under that impression. I mean, she keeps referring to them as like Starfleet because, I mean, she did bash them for breaking the Prime Directive, even though they're not Federation citizens. So
she's not going to stop aiding them.
Right. Yeah.
But I think she is going to be a bit more stern with them.
We're seeing Kate Mulgrew play Janeway doing her best EMH impression. I mean, it's like I'm a captain, not a doctor.
At this point, I understand Janeway wanting to find out what's been going on, but you literally have the people right there in front of you who will be able to help, and you're not going to say a damn thing to them. I guarantee that shit's going to happen, and it's only going to come out later because it's a trope that constantly happens over and over again lately in television. That's why I stopped watching The Flash.
Oh, The Flash just needs to end already.
It might. One of our topics for later, though. Son, how about you? Any other specific thoughts about the show?
This episode, how do I put this? It reminded me a whole bunch of those non-carbon based life form episodes of Star Trek. You know, with the silicon life forms in the sand and all that kind of stuff.
That's the first thing I thought of when I saw these creatures.
But at the same time, the way that these creatures exist seems more. I mean, honestly, they seem energy based. Period. They seem more like whatever when Kid Wesley fell in love with a girl, but the girl wasn't really a girl. She was like some kind of energy being thing, right?
On the Lassamorph, yeah.
And that's kind of what this episode felt like. And it's like, okay, Janeway, you're scolding these kids over a first contact with a species you yourself know fucking nothing about. You don't know how they operate, how they think, how they this, that, or the other. You're scolding them for breaking a trust. For what? They probably have no fucking concept of anything other than they can use the crystals to manipulate matter and change matter and build matter and destroy matter. And the group said no against one person, and that one person went and stole, and the entire rest of the group like literally went to go get the crystal back and got the crystal back for them. You have no clue what they're ever going to think. You're scolding them for shit they don't even understand because they're fucking kids and not even cadets.
That's the point of the show. Oh,
like I gotta stretch.
Like you're scolding them for things they don't even understand. But let's be honest, holographic Janeway, you're scolding them for a thing you don't even understand at this point. Because you yourself didn't make contact with these people.
Well, they are a part of a crew. And crew have... Whenever a member of the crew makes a mistake, generally speaking, the entire crew pays for that mistake. Speaking of that from experience, someone that gets a Liberty incident out in town, well, everybody knows about it, and everybody feels pain. Hope you had fun out there last night, because you're not going out on Liberty for the rest of this visit. Collective responsibility does seem pretty unfair, and oftentimes it can be, but it also gets the point of the discipline home to a great number of people.
I mean, maybe I missed something, but like they spent the entire fucking episode trying to put back right what someone who isn't even part of their crew did.
Yes, but they were on that mission. They set out on that mission under false pretenses. That's on Dahl. He didn't, like you said, he didn't communicate the actual objective of the mission to them. And of course, and Nandi, of course, bears a fair measure of responsibility as well, because she was going to double cross them all anyway.
I mean, that I expected.
As a crew, they bear responsibility for what happened on that planet.
Yes, they do.
I mean, okay. I mean, I understand that. I've never been in the military, so there's no way I can ever understand what the hell you guys are talking about. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But like, it's like usually when you get in trouble, you have to fix the situation. They spent the entire episode fixing the situation before they got in trouble.
Yes, they did. They did try and fix the situation, and they deserve credit for that. But they still violated the Prime Directive, and that's bad. They caused significant and potentially irreparable harm to this previously unknown species, and they bear responsibility for that.
Right, that I understand. It just felt like when Janeway was like, you violated the Prime Directive and my trust. Turn off. It's like you literally just you just found out who boarded your fucking ship, and you're not going to communicate with the other people on this ship who might be able to help you figure out, even if you don't know that they know who that is. These other people might be it, but you're too pissed off right now to communicate with them that you found that out.
She'll probably bring it up in the next episode.
It's something it's going to get addressed. These are half-hour episodes of the kids show, so it's going to, and this is a 20-episode first season, so it's gonna be a while. But we are going to get our answers. But this episode did raise more questions than it answered, because the dread knock in the background.
This show is doing a very good job at leading us on with mysteries.
Yes.
It's probably doing the best at explaining time travel ever, and that's by not explaining time travel at all.
I really got to hand it to the writers of this show. Nickelodeon. Who knew that Nickelodeon would be so good at Star Trek?
Well, it's not just Nickelodeon. Remember, if I remember reading the credits correctly, Kirsten Beyer is on this show as well as a writer.
Yep.
And she's the Voyager writer. So like all of this shit is making sense from a perspective of her writing.
Isn't she also the EP of Picard?
Yeah, I mean she's been with all of the productions pretty much.
But
she's hopped from just about everything. But at the same time, it's like all of this is very Kirsten in how cohesive it is. It makes me think that she's one of the lead writers for this show. Like
I imagine so.
Like not just named lead writer. I mean like executive writer. Period for the show.
Go gadget IMDb.
Oh, by the way, speaking of IMDb and all that kind of stuff, yes, The Nandi class is a Ferengi warship in Star Trek Online.
There we go.
Yeah. So there's that.
Any further thoughts on Prodigy for us?
Let me do a quick look. Okay, writers. We got Kevin and Dan Hagman. Come on, load. That's written by Deandra Pendleton Thompson.
Okay.
So that's who's got the writing credit, the primary writing credit for this episode. Let's see. I'm not seeing Kristen Beyer in the producers. Oh, okay. Deandra is a writer for Stranger Things and Star Trek Picard.
There it is.
And she's also an actress. Very cool.
Damn,
But
girl.
yeah, her first major big writing credits, Lucky Night, Awakening Love, Prodigy, Within Darkness, Stranger Things, and Picard. Yeah, she was a writing room assistant in Star Trek Picard. Okay. All right, yeah, so that'll wrap up our discussion on Star Trek Prodigy. I am going to mute and disable so you guys can go ham on the spoilers for Boba Fett.
We could hold off till Justin gets back in for that one because, I mean, you got to get caught up, so.
Okay, it's going to be a real short show. In that case,
No,
all right.
I mean, let's talk about it, Greg, because I have notes, and I'm not going to wait a week to talk about these notes.
Get me 3 teenagers with attitude.
Oh,
I've seen the memes. All right, you guys have fun.
Okay. So, quick recap for Book of Boba Fett this week: Streets of Mos Espa. Boba Fett is continuing to be the crime lord, having his issues with the mayor. He then has to deal with a few local teenagers causing trouble. Has someone come by? I forget the actor's name now. Oh my god! Has him come by as part of his tribute to that has no tribute, but wants Boba Fett to do something about the teenagers who constantly steal his water. Goes and offers said teenagers a job, and tells the guy to eat the profit he's missing out on. Tosses him 500 credits and takes off with them. He then comes across the twins. The Hutt twins come back after Black Chrysanthemum tries to kill Boba Fett, and they tell him to go ahead and keep him as he's locked away in a dungeon. So this episode turned out to be a lot more than we thought of. The Hutts decide to go ahead and leave Tatooine. The mayor is nowhere to be found. The memes, if you guys have seen the episode, Boba Rangers, are very well deserved as he sends the teenagers on their very colorful Power Ranger bikes off after the mayor's assistant after he wouldn't give them an audience, and then comes to find out the mayor's working with the Pike Syndicate. So as the Hutts called it, a war is on its way. Son, what did your notes have on this one?
So, the first thing I wrote, like, I had to stop the episode and open up a notepad before 5 minutes had passed. So I swear to God, I thought that guy was the guy who's playing Discovery Mud.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like, I shit you not, I thought that was the guy playing Fit and Mud.
Right, yeah.
Discovery, and then it's like, oh, it's not him. Okay.
They looked alike, though. I'll give you that one.
Okay, so the flashback, like we keep getting him having Bacta tank dreams. I wonder,
Yes.
does Bacta do that? Like, does Bacta do that? Because if so, holy shit. We saw Amy Sedaris' mechanic character in the flashback.
Yes, we did with her droid. With her droids walking by.
Yep, they were behind the stormtrooper helmets being impaled on the spikes.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, the tragedy of the Tusken Raiders is interrupted by another assassination attempt.
Oh.
Wow, it's like
he can't catch a break.
we didn't even get and that's the thing. We didn't even get the resolution to that story because it was interrupted by another assassination attempt.
Yep. By Black Chrysanthemum of all.
So at this point, we don't even know if he actually takes care of the Nikto Sandbiker gang.
Yeah, no, we don't find that out since they are clearly going with them for the protection now, even though he's like, look forward to our partnership. Well, there's no protection from the Tuskens now.
Well,
Or for the
remember,
Tuskens.
well, see, that's where things get kind of iffy, because remember, the group that Boba was with himself, like
Mhm.
he mentions that like they spoke with the rest of the Tusken groups
That's true, yeah.
to offer protection for the Pikes through that territory. And just because you've killed one group, you're going to have the rest of the groups pissed off at you. Especially if the only surviving member is the honorary member who was meant to go and collect that tribute. Like I think there's going to be some kind of resolution there with him kind of leading a rebellion against the Nikto bikers.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is like we're going to see two resolutions, like the end of the storyline he's currently going through, and we're going to see the Tusken Raider storyline finish up in his dreams.
I think what we're going to see is going to be what is leading us into this war right now with the Pike Syndicate. That not only does Boba Fett take out the Nikto Sandbikers who were protecting the Pike's transports, but he is going to use the Tusken Raiders to completely stop the Pikes from transporting spice.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to pretty much be like the onus for this invasion with the mayor.
Yeah, I'm getting and this whole the whole spice thing with this like is I'm getting very much Dune vibes from this.
But that's the other thing to me though. I don't think something is very odd to me about all of this.
Which
the only
part has
time the only time we've seen the mayor do anything is he literally pulls out a gun and kills the assassin, right?
Yes, that's the only right.
This is the only thing we've ever seen him done or ever seen him do. And from a position of I'm the mayor, that is the most badass statement you can make if you're a weakling. Because literally, dude is a caught fucking assassin. He has no means of escape. He has no weapons on him. You can literally just shoot his ass in cold blood, and you seem like the powerful one. I don't think the mayor is in charge at all of any of the shit going on. I think the mayor is just like a fucking figurehead, and it's the Twi'lek and his girlfriend over at the fucking casino that's doing all this shit.
It's them, or definitely the Pikes. So I wouldn't be now. That's an interesting one because I didn't think back on the casino. So if it does end up being the casino, then that would make the most sense. At the same time, it also could be the Pikes and they could call in shots since the mayor, according to his assistant schedule, whatever he is, that he's with the Pike Syndicate right now.
Well, yeah, the daimyo guy is going to say anything he can to get out of anything.
that too.
If anything, he's just a more he's a less ugly looking version of Bib Fortuna. The guy will say anything to weasel his way out of getting injured.
Oh god, yes. Definitely. Yeah, that was I think hold on. There goes. I think the major domo is more in charge of the mayor.
That's I think the two major powers are the Twi'lek lady that's running the casino and the major daimyo that's basically the assistant of the mayor. I think those two are the ones running the show. I don't think the mayor has any power whatsoever, except for the little display of just killing someone in cold blood because that person was an assassin with no fucking power whatsoever at that point.
Yeah, like just kill him.
Yeah. Did you find the okay? Did you
Mhm.
find the fight scene with Chrysanthemum odd at all?
He could have killed Boba right away. So I think he was toying with him. I think he was toying Boba Fett. Like just basically, all he literally did was throw him around,
Yeah.
and it wasn't so much. And I think that was like more or less like sending a message because with how big and strong and the weapons he has, he could have killed Boba.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. From if you're watching that episode, he's trying to bang Boba Fett. He's trying to break Boba
Oh
Fett's
yeah,
back like Bane did to
yeah,
Batman. But my thought was, what I thought was weird is like I have this note. That's a lot of restraint against some kids from a supposed cruel, uncaring mutilator and torturer, especially when he goes as hard as he does against the Gamorreans.
And see, what gets me is I'm wondering how Chrysanthemum got in, how he got past the Gamorreans, how he got past the his teenager help, how he got past Fennec. It's like, how did you get in there? And then all of a sudden, obviously because of the commotion, you're there. But how did you get past everybody? You are not hard to. You're not easy to miss. You know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest. Anybody who was up on their game should have known something was going on.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
at the same time, remember, Leia got away with a lot of shit in Jabba's palace too before she was, exposed.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
So it's not exactly like they have top line security. So I mean, he probably could have easily slipped in through the front door.
yeah. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. The only reason, the only reason Leia was exposed for all of that shit is because Jabba fucking slept on his throne. So when she's thawing out Han Solo, like he's laughing because
Yeah.
she woke him up. So yeah, there was that, and it's like then the twins show up,
Yes.
and this guy just has a bucket of Moogle sweat rags. He
Yes.
he uses one, tosses it, and then grabs another and
He
starts
uses what,
moving.
2 or 3 in this like 3 minutes.
Mhm. It's like, Jesus, you're going to cause an invasive species boom on this planet. Jesus Christ.
And I think with them showing up and them saying like, "Oh, you could sell Chrysanthemum back to the gladiators," and Boba letting him go,
Hmm.
they're gonna tie in the comics, and I guarantee you Chrysanthemum's gonna come back and help Boba with something at some point.
Possibly. Quite possibly. Um then in the most yeah, that's just fucking obvious thing that could ever be done. Disney decided to hire Danny Trejo as a Rancor tamer.
Yes. Danny fucking Trejo. Oh my god, I can't believe. Okay, I'm sorry, son, but I could not love a cameo more than what I did with Danny Trejo
I
in
mean,
Star Wars.
I expected it. Like, you didn't even see his face yet.
Right?
You didn't even see his face yet. You just saw that shade on the little thing coming up, and I'm like, if that's not Danny Trejo, I'm going to lose my shit because that's who that should be. And then, sure enough, there it was.
Oh god, of all things, he's a Rancor handler.
Yeah, I mean,
I,
but
and
not only is he like a Rancor tamer, he's like
mhm.
he rescued one.
Yes. Oh god. So, and for funny context for the viewers, Danny Trejo is a very much outspoken supporter of pit bulls, much like Patrick Stewart. So this whole introduction of him being a Rancor handler and immediately starting out with they are very misunderstood emotional creatures, that is 100% on point with his support for pit bulls. So this is a great way for him to portray that.
Not only is this a nod to that, it is also a callback to Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
If if anybody who watches that remembers when Luke kills the Rancor, you had that fat ass tamer guy who comes down sobbing and bawling
Yep.
like he just lost his best friend. And it's something everybody seemed to kind of just push away because we didn't know anything about the Rancor or anything.
Exactly.
And now you have Trejo explaining all this shit, and it goes, oh, that makes sense now.
And did you get this vibe? So when they bring the Rancor in, and he's telling Boba about him, like, they imprint upon the first human they see. They're very docile and less threatened. They just like to eat and sleep. So you know how Boba kept getting shit the first two episodes. Where's your litter? And the first thing he says, well, the witches of Daimoth. I'm not saying that right, but they would ride these. Boba Fett's Dathomir, thank you. Boba's face lights up. Teach me to ride it. There's his litter. He's going to ride the Rancor through Mos Espa this season.
Maybe.
I would not be surprised.
That would, I mean, let's let you want to talk about a show of power? That's a fucking show of power. Riding in on he's ridden a bantha now. He's got the speeder bike.
Yeah, and he's got
a jetpack. He rode that thing out in the desert with the Tusken Raider kid.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just add Rancor to the list. Hell, shit! By the end of this series, let's have him ride one of those fucking dune worm things.
Oh God, Shai Hulud. Oh yeah, but I'm calling it. There's his litter. We're gonna see him riding a Rancor through Mos Espa as his litter, either at the end of the season or like maybe the next couple episodes. He's gonna be riding it.
So, that was one hell of a low speed chase.
Oh my God. They could have made that so much faster. I get that obviously.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing. They used so many camera tricks to make it look like it was faster than it actually was. But those were all zoom in close up shots. Anytime you had a wide shot of the speeder and the bikes behind him.
Oh, you knew it was,
it was so fucking slow. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're trying to make this look fast. This is so fucking slow. The slow-mo shot of Django leaving in the Slave One and Boba putting his hand on the fucking window feels faster than this entire fucking chase scene.
Definitely. And the funny part is, with it feeling slow in the way it was shot, it's Robert Rodriguez. He directed Spy Kids, so this is all him. Like,
that explains the shiny colors, doesn't it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get that. So one of the other things that I've seen pop up in all of this is how do I say this without being offensive?
Oh.
This is how you do diversity correctly. Thank you.
What, with the bikers?
Yeah, with the biker gang kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's not. It has nothing to do with you're having to have this person and that person and that person and this person. They're just a bunch of kids hanging out.
Yep. Stealing water.
They're just a bunch of kids hanging out. Well, stealing water from a dude who's overcharging for it.
True.
Extensively. But like this feels, I mean, the biker gang feels more like Kids Next Door than it does like anything else, honestly.
Yeah, they do not come off as hardened criminals. Like you said, Kids Next Door, these are the neighborhood kids getting in trouble.
But that's the other weird thing. This is, you have to admit, it's really weird that this biker gang are just the neighborhood kids getting in trouble when they have shit shinier than everybody else and tech that they admit is fucking expensive.
And the fact that they modified themselves. So yeah, these guys, like the one guy has a foot that's basically a pogo stick on his leg, stabbing the Domo's car. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, and it's like where you say there is no work. So where did you get the money for all of this stuff?
Exactly.
Because like Power Ranger mopeds aren't cheap. And that's what these things. I mean, that's what these things are. They're fucking Power Ranger mopeds. These aren't speeder bikes. Speeder bikes imply that they're speed. These things are like I feel like I could walk faster than these things.
That's what that reminded me of. Okay, that scene with them chasing the domo, they sold Tupperware. Oh god, like I just said in my Twitch, they sold Tupperware. This reminded me of them filming the Power Rangers scene where the Zords come out and they're just moving so slow. That's what it reminded me of.
I mean, I did half expect the guy on the green bike to pull out a dagger that's also a flute.
That would have been good. Oh god, that would have been
good. Yeah. So no, that's like, God, what the hell is this? Like, this is now I understand why people are suddenly saying that this show is horrible. It's like, this is the one episode where I would agree this was a pretty bad fucking episode just for the fucking chase scene.
I see that. Okay, okay. So I get that, and I get people's arguments with it. I actually thought this was the best episode of the season so far. I really loved this episode.
I 100% agree.
Oh,
like if this is another one of those the new trilogy things. If you cut out the fucking chase scene from this episode, the whole rest of the thing is great.
Yeah.
But the chase scene drags on for so fucking long and feels so slow. It's the only and it's memeable. So it's the only thing people remember.
I'm wondering if Rodriguez did that on purpose. Like, you know what? They had, like you said, that great episode up until they go to the mayor's office for the chase. That's like, okay, Rodriguez, did you just sit there and be like, I'm going to make a meme out of the last third of this episode? It's like, come on.
The last note that I have. Was that like canvassed concept art from the original series or from the original trilogy? Because that picture is one of Boba Fett, Bib Fortuna, and Jabba the Hutt on his throne.
Oh, but the one that gets destroyed?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm honestly curious about that because I caught that and did a little pause like, oh, hey, that's pretty great and pretty funny. And even Leia thought the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. If it was early concept art for Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back.
And my that was my first question. My second question was, who the hell was that for?
Right? Who was buying that painting? Who was having it delivered?
Yeah, like who in their right mind wanted a picture of Jabba the Hutt, Bib Fortuna, and Boba Fett, all three daimyos of fucking Tatooine in the same fucking photo?
The casino lady, probably. Like you said, since they're the ones that she may be behind it all. She probably wanted a portrait of all three that she's taken out or that have been taken out.
Maybe. That would actually be an interesting thing. And I don't think it would be the casino lady. I think it would be the mayor's major domo, simply because of how much hassle Boba has given the guy. It's like, look at what we did. We did. We took out all three of these.
And then, of course, the Fennec basically saying you're going to open that door and draws her pistol. It's like, and then Boba's, of course, like, that's a little heavy-handed, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, but let's be honest. Everyone's been talking about nobody respects you because you don't show any force.
Right.
And yet the moment they show force, everybody clams the fuck up. It's like, excuse me? Which the fuck is it?
It's like you can't have. It's like they want their cake and they're eating all of it. It's like, no, you gotta have happy medium. So it's like you can't be losing your shit when he decides to show power.
I just this episode was weird for me. Although I do hope we see Amy Sedaris at some point in this, like actually see her, like she plays a role in this series.
I mean, it would make. I mean, they probably need stuff that needs. They probably have stuff that needs fixing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they call her someone. But she's in Mos Eisley. They're in Mos Espa, so
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I mean, I don't know. Did he go to Mos Eisley or did he go to Mos Espa?
he's in Mos
No, no,
Espa.
no, no. Like in the flashback where
Oh,
she's at, was
I'm
that
going.
Mos Eisley or was that Mos Espa?
I'm pretty sure that's Mos Eisley because that's where Din Djarin landed. Yeah, because that the when he meets up with from the series more from understood the freeze. Excuse me. Okay,
What is this?
from us. Okay, I think that was Ross.
I
um,
I'm not sure that was Ross.
well, Justin maybe he could be.
Maybe. I don't
We don't
know.
know where that came from, guys. But anyway, I'm pretty Din Djarin. Oh, it's Ross Meekslick. Gotcha.
Okay.
So Moss Din Djarin from Mandalorian landed in Mos Eisley because that's where he meets up with the newbie of the guild. They're in the cantina from
Right,
the
right, right.
movies. So yeah, that was Moss. She's in Mos Eisley and Boba's in Mos Espa.
Okay, so that would explain why they had her like in the flashback.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would give us the point of reference. I do hope that we actually see her in this episode at some point, like in this series at some point.
I think so. Just remind you guys of still care. We got it, Ross. Well, wrapping up Boba Fett. Any other thoughts, son, on this episode? Or
Well, we have kind of it's been weird for the past couple of episodes that we only have two guards essentially. So now we have so we now have kind of a full set of guards at this point.
He's got his Power Rangers, and then
the reason I talk about Amy Sedaris is now he would now have a palace mechanic essentially.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, bring her on. Be like, hey, I need you to fix stuff, and go from there.
Yeah, and she could bring her droids
because he doesn't mind droids.
Not at all.
Well, that about wraps up our review for Boba Fett, the Streets of Mos Espa. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. We'll have Ross come on back, and we'll finish up our show if he's listening. Ross.
There's always a private chat to type in, which is what I just did.
Okay, I was about to do that too.
Yeah, take the moment for you to finish to wrap us up and type in the private chat that we're done.
Well, Ross is coming back then, so we have a few things we could talk about as soon as he reads the chat and comes back in here. So we have gaming news, not so much news, but this was published. Let's go ahead and pull this up here real quick from comicbook.com that Sony and Microsoft are keeping the console wars alive and well. And that there's Ross. There we go.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you guys think that I wanted you to hurry up.
Oh no, we were.
No, you're fine. We were on the tail end of the stuff anyway.
Okay.
So one of the things I wanted to go over, Ross, since you're back, was our one article of gaming news.
Yeah.
A big one that was published a couple days ago by Comic Book that Sony and Microsoft have switched positions on console generations. Oh shit, Leia, damn it.
I think I know what you're talking about, that Sony is now producing PS4s again since PS5s are so hard to come by.
Yep, so Sony has revamped up, or at least continuing to make PS4s. Xbox has officially, as of February this year, will no longer be making Xbox One models of any sort. That means the One and the One X.
Great, so their prices are going to go up.
Yes.
Yay.
I will, Leia did a redeem for me, so hold on, Leia. We'll go over this real quick, and I'll do my thing. Baby Boy, we were talking about the console wars between PlayStation and Microsoft. So essentially, what's happening is that Microsoft is claiming they're vamping up production for the Series X and S. They're canceling and stopping production on the One X and Ones. And Sony's sitting here like, that's okay. We can't give you enough PS5s. Here's more PS4s. So,
bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for them.
So, for my viewers, this is one of my new ones. Leia has redeemed Bop It, Pull It, Lick It. So,
sounds dirty.
Oh, it is, because I get to
oh God, no! No.
So Leia has redeemed. I have to lick a Switch cartridge, and yeah, it's not pleasant. So I got to get this out of the way. And ah ah oh
That hurts me to watch.
oh it's so it's on the lips again. Damn it!
But what does it taste like?
It tastes absolutely terrible. Ow! Eh. Water doesn't help. Oh, I'm screwed.
So, okay,
That
so,
brings
so
me no joy whatsoever to see.
Oh,
everybody keeps saying it's horrible, but nobody can describe what it tastes like.
it tastes okay. I've licked cement as a kid. This tastes worse than cement.
Okay.
Oh my god! Oh, it's just meant to taste bad so kids don't eat it. And I was dumb enough to do it a while back.
But you weren't the first person to do it.
Oh hell no.
No.
Oh, oh man. But anyway, that was our Xbox PlayStation news that Microsoft is attempting to say, hey, we're going to be making more Series X's, and PlayStation saying we can't give you enough PS5s, here's more PS4s. So
Oh, Leah, yes, I'm very glad I don't have it redeemed like that. I have a plateau of humiliation that I will reach and stop. There are some things I will not do to myself, even for views, because apparently I have self-respect.
And
I thought I did.
You know what one of those things isn't? Is not stuffing your face full of cookies during a show.
Hey, that was to unnerve Travis as much as it was
to piss me off.
One.
As much as it was to piss me off with an entire package of Hydrox.
Okay, so while I'm getting the taste out of my mouth, a few of our quick hits, we could talk about this one. We are going to talk about our geeky stuff that we love and enjoy.
Yeah, we've got some good news. Both Black Panther has resumed production this past week. I'm not sure how they are, considering certain members of the cast refused to get vaccinated.
Leticia Wright says she has fully recovered from COVID. They have confirmed that, so they are resuming production and going on from there. I don't know if she's changed her mind on the vaccination, but
after going through it, I know some people do.
Exactly. Yeah. Doctor Strange 2 finishes production again.
Again. Reshoots are done.
No, wait. Repeat. Explain this.
Okay, so Sam Raimi and Benedict Cumberbatch confirmed that Doctor Strange 2 went through extensive reshoots, not to change the movie per se, like, when I can't even think of the scenario. Sorry, but they're not changing the whole premise of the movie. They did it to add stuff. The list of rumored cameos has basically almost tripled with what they want to do with this movie.
Okay.
If you're getting Captain Carter, I will flip out in the best possible way.
Tobey Maguire's confirmed to be coming back as his version of Spider-Man. It is rumored that Hugh Jackman was spotted on the set filming scenes as Wolverine. And that they're including the X-Men, the James McAvoy X-Men. So Michael Fassbender will be there as Magneto. Halle Berry is Storm. The list goes on with these rumored cameos since the reshoot started. But Sam Raimi has confirmed that they have finished reshoots, finished production, and the movie is still set to come out later this year in November.
I like Halle Berry as an actress, but I think she was miscast as Storm.
I can agree with that. But I will agree she was miscast as Storm, but in Days of Future Past, she owned it.
Yes.
It took her a few movies, but she owned it.
You know who wasn't miscast in any of the X-Men movies?
Patrick Stewart?
Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He did very well with that role. So it's that was good to see Strange 2. I just labeled it as
now here's a question. Will we ever see Eric Bana's Hulk again?
Yes, he is rumored to be in it also.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that. I was making a joke because it was by far the worst adaptation of Hulk ever.
Okay, that movie gets undeserved flack. It was shot. Okay, Eric Bana was a bad Bruce Wayne. Oh my God, Bruce Banner. But I mean, the movie wasn't terrible. I kind of enjoyed it.
the fault lies entirely on Ang Lee, because here's the biggest thing: he didn't let Eric do any of the motion capture for the Hulk. He did it all.
That explains it. So Cumberbatch previously revealed that logistical and scheduling issues, sure, were the reason behind the reshoots. Quote, we're in the middle of reshoots and we're working incredibly hard to make a schedule work to realize the full potential of the film, bits that we want to do better, but also bits that were just impossible to do on the day because of logistics and COVID, etc. Like, it's cool. They're just hiding all the cameos.
They're filming a whole bunch of stuff for editing purposes.
Yeah. One of the rumors now, I would not be surprised if there's no basis on this one, but one of the leakers who leaked the entire No Way Home plot, he leaked Endgame, so he's got some credit to his name. Tom Cruise is in there as Iron Man. He was the first choice by Paramount, or whoever produced the first Iron Man, until Favreau made the case to give it to RDJ. So if Tom Cruise comes in as Iron Man, I'm gonna kind of fanboy because he's one of my favorite actors.
The only way Tom Cruise, the only way I would accept Tom Cruise being Iron Man is if he had the little Scientology cross on his chest instead of the arc reactor.
Yeah.
How would that have been instead of getting an endless series of Mission Impossible movies?
We basically had the Scientology equivalent of Bible Man.
Rockruff, one of my viewers, did I just hear? You heard that Tom Cruise may, I stress may, but this leaker who's got credit to his name has said that Tom Cruise will be in there as Iron Man.
I saw that rumor a while back too, yeah.
Ed Norton is unconfirmed to be returning to reprising Hulk himself with Eric Bana. So we got Spider-Man No Way Home. Now we're going to get a Hulk reunion of sorts.
Well, and technically it's the same character.
Yes. Thank you, Ross. A lot of people don't realize that Ang Lee's Hulk, Edward Norton's, and Mark Ruffalo's are all the same Hulk through that journey.
Ang Lee's Hulk is a different Hulk.
So confirmed, unconfirmed, that when we last see Eric Bana's Hulk, he's a doctor. He's in the jungle. And where do we find Edward Norton's Hulk?
That's an Easter egg. Because yes, we get the origin of the Hulk in the opening credits instead of it actually being played out in the movie like in the Ang Lee film.
Right.
But they're still different Hulks. There's a reason one was just called Hulk and the other one called the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk, right.
One was done before the big idea to make a bunch of Marvel movies that builds up to the Avengers. And then one came after.
And so we're looking forward to Doctor Strange 2, which is expected to be the biggest Marvel crossover in history because since Disney owns everything.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Son.
I forgot to put something on here that probably should be on here.
Let's hear it.
So all of last year, there were these rumors kind of swirling around about a Firefly reboot, right?
Those are always going around, yeah.
It's confirmed.
Yeah, they tend to be around a lot. But last year there were a lot more of them than normal.
Okay.
But we also came to this weird thing where MovieWeb posted an article about what to expect from a Firefly reboot, which got a whole bunch of people going, that's odd because you're making it sound like it's confirmed.
It is.
And so the guys over at Popcast, which covers Stargate and Firefly and all that kind of stuff, they actually went to both MovieWeb and Disney to ask for basically like, where did this info come from? What are your sources for this? And ask Disney, is this any of this true? Well, MovieWeb basically said we won't divulge our sources, and Disney was like, we have no comment. And And the other thing is, if Disney, see, that's the other thing. Disney's normally good at shooting down rumors. So having no comment is kind of this weird, iffy space for Disney. So they wound up having to basically say this is basically another unsubstantiated rumor. And that was until the boys at Popcast got an insider contacting them who said, look for a familiar ship in the later Star Wars series.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the big thought from the boys at Popcast was that we may see a Firefly ship or type ship in Mandalorian season 3, maybe, because that production is going on right now.
Yes.
And all of the, if anything Firefly related was going to happen, it would be in pre-production right now. And to have something like that in the background of Mandalorian season 3, whenever that airs, would be kind of this big Easter egg for them being in actual production.
So to give credit to Sun, I was trying to find the article, and it wasn't Comic Book, but it was someone else. I was actually on Yahoo, that a Firefly reboot is in the works and is going to happen. And here's what made people cringe, is that it is going to be a family-friendly Firefly reboot. I'm like, so...
I don't think that's necessarily the case, though.
Hold on. So I've got another redeem going. I have to drink a beer, but I'm not going to bitch because it's Guinness.
Okay.
It's one of my redeems. I do it for the views.
Okay.
What is the possibility that...
Well, see, according to the insider that contacted Popcast, they actually kind of spilled a lot of details that weren't in any other rumors that have been used. And one of those is that yes, like every fan wants, they've discounted the movie entirely. Disney has discounted the movie entirely. Disney's the one who's making this.
It was really good.
They're discounting the movie entirely from this, and this is from the insider, from the sole perspective that they want Wash alive.
Well, if they're doing a reboot, that would make sense.
But if they want,
and the other thing is that they mentioned the Yahoo article about being family friendly and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And they said the insider actually told them that the series is being helmed by Dave Filoni and the other guy that's doing Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian. Yeah, this series is going to be led by them. Which, look at what they did with the Mandalorian.
In that case,
fucking space western.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what Firefly is.
That's Firefly.
That's exactly what Firefly is.
So, if anybody was going to be the head of a reboot or a relaunch or a continuation or whatever the hell, it's going to be them, because they have the track record to prove that they can pull it off. What was that? There was something else. They got into speculation later in the episode, and that's where I kind of turned stuff off. I mean, it makes sense from a speculative perspective that if they're discounting the movie because they want Wash alive, it means they're going to bring back main characters at some point.
Exactly, which means that they want Alan Tudyk back and Nathan Fillion.
But there was something important in all this that I keep forgetting, and I can't remember what it was. But essentially, they can't bring back the entire original cast because Shepard's dead.
Yeah. Wasn't there some big controversy with what was her name? The engineer, Kaylee?
I don't know, but you got to remember, this is also a series that is helmed by the current Hollywood pariah, Joss Whedon.
Right.
This is his baby. So
If
You ever notice that Favreau's been producing and making stuff to fix Whedon's mistakes?
I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong.
No lies detected. I if they're rebooting, I don't see why they would bring back the entire main cast. They'd have to recast everybody and maybe bring back the old cast as a cameo.
I remember Wash as a kid.
Well, that's where I think the term reboot is reboot has lost all meaning at this point. It is a word that just keeps getting used over and over and over again for shit it doesn't mean, and it's basically lost all meaning that everything is a reboot. I honestly think that what they're doing with this production, what Disney is doing with this production, because of the insider that came to Popcast, is they're basically doing a new series based on the following of Firefly's original series. But it's going to be basically like Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I can see that.
We'll see. They better be ready to have all hands on deck to piss off an entire generation of fans.
Oh my god, the Fandom Menace is just going to tear everything apart.
But see,
Star Trek Discovery.
but see, here's where I disagree with here's where I disagree with the whole family friendly thing. Okay. And Popcast did too. This is Popcast's point, which I agree with totally. 20 years ago is when all this shit aired with Firefly originally.
Was it 20 years?
Yeah, 20 years ago.
Ross, we're old.
I know.
20 years ago, Firefly.
Next year I will have enlisted 20 years ago.
This 20 years ago, this show aired on like national television, Fox.
Fox, right? Yeah, Fox. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And casually, like not even made it a taboo thing, just casually, like showed, exposed, and made kind of okay prostitution. Now it used all kinds of fancy words to do it, but that's 20 years ago on like broadcast fucking television.
Yep.
Having her be in charge of herself certainly went a long way to.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's because she was her own boss. Yeah.
She's a high-end companion, a courtesan.
Right. Like I said, they used fancy words for it, but at the end of the day, you always had Nathan Fillion calling her a whore.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we understood and accepted that she was basically a fancy prostitute. And that was 20 years ago. Now we live in an age where Disney's not going to have this shit on TV at all whatsoever. And look at what the hell they've done with the Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian. You really think they're going to be quote unquote family friendly with that aspect of the show?
I wouldn't call either of those shows necessarily family friendly.
Exactly. That's my point. To assume that whatever the hell Firefly may do as a reboot through Disney is going to be family friendly, just because Disney has a history of trying to be family friendly and just about everything else, doesn't hold water, considering what Disney is offering right now.
Just because it's Disney doesn't mean that it's all, Mickey Mouse and everything else.
Yeah.
They might be fighting hard as hell to keep the copyright to Mickey to themselves, but Disney, they're not angels. They produce.
Well, that's the other thing about all of this that a lot of people kind of get lost in the weeds about. Disney has had no qualms about making adult themed shit. They've just always done it through third parties that they've owned.
Buena Vista, Miramax,
Pirates of the Caribbean. They didn't put their name on that.
Well, later.
Not until it got famous.
It's kind of hard to separate Pirates of the Caribbean from Disney, considering it was one of the original rides at Disneyland.
And I had worked at Sitel at the time when the first one was coming out, Black Pearl. But I remember watching it. Disney did not put their name on that movie at all, even though we all knew Pirates of the Caribbean, Disney. Disney did not plaster their name on that movie.
Show us your larboard side.
The this show and the Star Wars stuff that has come out has been a direct. The only reason Disney has had their name on it is because Disney themselves acquired the properties. Disney acquired Star Wars directly, and Disney directly acquired all the properties of 20th Century Fox. So they can't. I mean, they could funnel it through a third-party company like they used to, but everybody knows Disney owns the property.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's no use trying to hide the fact that Disney literally owns the Rocky Horror Picture Show. They own the Rocky Horror Picture Show,
and there's a reason the Orville is on Hulu.
Yep,
which is now majority owned by Disney.
It's entirely owned by Disney.
Because
Disney owns Hulu now. So
wait, the other stakeholders shared their stuff sold to Disney as well? I thought they're okay. So I know. Okay, so Fox gave up their share to Disney, but I thought there was still another party in Hulu, not just Disney. Disney just had like so much majority control; they effectively owned it.
I believe they have majority control, which is why Hulu still has its own original content. Why *Handmaid's Tale* is still made and produced by Hulu, not Disney.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's a hard show to watch.
It is.
It's good, but my god.
So we're waiting for the Phantom Menace on Firefly. Then hopefully that.
Well, see, that's the thing. We still don't have an official confirmation by Disney.
Let's wrap this up. We've got a couple more quick topics to get through.
Okay.
Greg, this one's all you, man.
Okay. So, this one, for those of you who know who Logan Paul is, and those of you who are Pokemon card collectors like myself, I've been in the hobby about 25 years now. It's been a fun hobby. You buy, sell cards, trade them, and all that. And it's been fun. It's been great. Logan Paul comes into the scene and starts talking about how he's nostalgic. He misses Pokemon. He was not even alive for the first few really good sets of Pokemon cards. So he decides to go and up end the market, and buys all these first edition boxes of old cards, which then in turn caused the scalper market to explode. So instead of me being able to buy a card that's $100, it's now $10,000 because of him. So, long story short, Logan Paul goes and made the news around the world that he spent $3.5 million on vintage first edition Pokemon cards, 6 booster boxes. So he goes to get these authenticated. It is authenticated 6 ways to Sunday by the Baseball Card Association, whatever their BBCA is what they're, or BBCE, I'm sorry. Baseball Card Exchange, I believe is what they're called. And they authenticate it like, oh, the wrapping looks good, but then they get a close-up look at it. It's like, well, the tape doesn't look right, but it's okay. Then they open the box like, okay, well, this is inflated a little bit. So they go to open the boxes. Logan Paul doesn't even open the boxes. He's in the background. These guys open the boxes, and not only are these fake, not only is not Pokemon cards, but they were thought to be fake, they're not even Pokemon cards. It is a bunch of G.I. Joe trading cards that just fell out of these boxes.
Well, now we know, and knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe.
Oh man, I like as you saw Ross's face when I said Logan Paul. We cannot stand this guy. He is a trash human being. I have no sympathy for him at all. He was in this video. He was literally in tears. It's like, I lost $3.5 million, and all of us are like, thank you, raising a beer to this.
I mean, you guys got to remember, Logan Paul only exists because he's a refugee from Vine.
Oh God! Yes.
And as much as I despise the guy, he and his brother have found ways to be relevant and popular enough to sustain their channels and to continue to make money. And as much Schadenfreude as it gives me to know that he wasted an insane amount of money, more money than I will earn in my entire life, in these Pokemon cards, he's going to earn it all back in no time with views from this
Yep.
video and others.
The very first 5 seconds of his video was a plug to some brand. He's like, he literally says, "You guys should go buy this so I get money back in my account from these cards." It's like, screw you, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would like to point out that at this point, we can officially call Logan Paul a hipster. He was a TikToker before TikTok was even TikTok. What do you think Vine was? It was TikTok before TikTok existed.
Oh, I love you so much, son.
See the world a little bit differently.
Oh, yeah. So that's about all of that individual that I can stomach for one day. We got an announcement for Moon Knight.
yes, Ross.
It is officially coming out on March 30th. So, what do you guys think about that?
If Oscar Isaac, I'm on board.
The Marvel version of Sailor Moon. That's it.
I mean, Sun's not wrong.
Fighting evil by moonlight, living love by daylight.
I don't know. Okay, so I don't know too much about Moon Knight. I mean, I looked it up when I saw he got the role, and Moon Knight is more going to be, I think, Leia's thing, because she's hardcore. She's an archaeologist first and foremost. Her main focus was Egyptian mythology and all that. So yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I'm going to see. Leia's excited for it. Like I said, Oscar Isaac, he's one of those actors that can do no wrong right now. You may hate Star Wars, excellent character though in Star Wars and Poe Dameron. By far and away, Duke Atreides, dude's got it. I mean, so what about you, Ross? Are you looking forward to it?
I'm interested. Moon Knight is one of those Marvel B or C characters that he's been around forever, and he's got a curious reputation and some pretty good memes. Where's my money? So I'm interested to see how the films depict the character and how he's portrayed. Should be interesting. How about you, son? Son? Did we lose son?
No. I'm making a clip, you guys.
Oh, okay.
Look, the moment you started singing, I knew I had to clip it. Like, come on, I had to clip it. Like, I even have the clip ready. I just finished the clip. There you go.
There it is.
Okay, so what am I supposed to be replying to?
What do you think about Moon Knight?
I honestly know fuck all about Moon Knight. That's why I said it just sounds like it's going to be. I mean, just by the title, just seeing the title, all I figure is that it's going to be some kind of Sailor Moon-esque Marvel thing. And the worst thing is that Greg's like, you're not wrong, and I'm like, okay, I didn't even know this was a thing. Thank you.
Moon Knight is one of those Marvel characters whose powers are bestowed to him via divine means. In this case, one of the Egyptian deities.
Yes.
So he's got that's the theme of the character. He's I forget the name exactly, but he's a crusader for justice, in the same vein as Batman, but with divine mandate rather than vengeance.
So it's a little bit of Sailor Moon and a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh. Got it.
There you go.
Closer to Yu-Gi-Oh.
And that's the extent of my knowledge about Moon Knight.
So we're all going to this one blind, and I'm looking forward to it.
I've heard him often jokingly referred to as gay Batman.
So this is a series, right?
Is
and
it?
Not like a
Yes,
movie?
Yes, it is a series, Disney Plus series.
Okay. Okay. I might watch it. Yeah.
All right. And Greg, you've got our last one for tonight, and that is The Expanse has an interesting bit of Easter egg for their series finale.
So for those, even if you've never seen Expanse before, but Expanse is a show on Amazon Prime, it just had its series finale, deemed often as one of the most scientifically accurate sci-fi shows made. But they decided to go out with a bang in their series finale episode. So if you know your sci-fi history, they decided to go ahead and drop the biggest sci-fi Easter egg in history, where they dropped so many character names it made people's heads explode. For their alpha, so I'm going to go ahead and read these off, guys. For their alpha team, we have Jial Akbar, Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. We have Douglas Quaid, Total Recall. We have David Bowman, this 2001: A Space Odyssey. Commander Shepard from Mass Effect, for you video game guys out there. Duncan Idaho from Doom. Alex Rogan of The Last Starfighter. Jason Nesmith from Galaxy Quest, the greatest Star Trek parody ever made. And Edward Buck, Spartan 4 super soldier with the USNC Marine Corps. For their Bravo team, they keep going. Shannon K. Garrity is not a character, but he is an author who created the webcomics Narbonic and Skin Horse. Ellen Ripley. We all have to know who Ripley is. Dwayne Hicks, her love interest from Aliens, and Corporal Hicks.
Game Over Man guy?
No, that's Game Over Man guy is actually in here. He is Will Hudson. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton, giving us one of the greatest action quotes of ever. Game
Over Man!
We have Joseph Cooper. He is from Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey. Tom Cruise fans.
Right.
Tom Cruise fans, we have John Anderton from Minority Report, Will Hudson, Jeanette Vasquez from Aliens. We also have from Blade Runner, Deckard. And then, of course, we go to, for Fishing Up Bravo Team, Jack O'Neill, for you Stargate fans out there.
One L or two?
It just says Stargate, so I'm honestly...
No, in the name. One L or two?
One L.
Okay, it's the unfunny one.
The Kurt Russell one?
It's the Kurt Russell. It's the original alternate universe.
Gotcha.
It's the movie.
Right, yeah, this is that's Leia's wheelhouse. Anything Stargate, ooh, that girl will go. For the final one, Charlie team, we have Lucky Star from the Isaac Asimov book series, Lucky Star. Fired Greg. See, Leia just tells me fired because I didn't know that. But see, Ross knew, Son knew. There you go.
It's a meme.
Leia knows this one because she just saw this movie recently. Louis Banks, for those of you who don't know, the linguist in Arrival. So that was a very good one.
Oh yeah.
We all had better know this one. The one and only Kevin Flynn, the user. So we go on to Ron Neary. That's a very old one. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. One of my favorites, Johnny Rico of the Roughnecks.
You apes want to live forever?
What was that, son?
Starship Troopers.
Yes. We have, this is for you guys, this is for the hardcore ones out there, the call sign Starbuck, otherwise known as Kara Race. BSG. And then, of course, we have the one and only mother of John Connor, who trained the Resistance to fight Skynet, Sarah Connor. And then, of course, the last two we have here, Ryan Stone, Sandra Bullock's character from Gravity. And then, of course, the one, the only, the one who we love as our eyebrows of doom, who looks like Commander William Riker of Star Trek. So that was the list of characters that Expanse series finale threw in a list in their background of a military exercise, it looks like, or military fight, where you just see all these names. They just threw them all in there.
You know what I'm disappointed in?
What's that?
They didn't put in Jodie Foster's character from Contact.
Right? That was one they could have easily thrown in there.
Mm-hmm.
They probably did, but they had to trim down the list.
Yeah, this looks like it could have been much, much longer. I mean, look, there's 10 per one. So there's 30 names on this list.
There's not a single Doctor Who reference in there.
But yeah, I mean, they covered the genre.
There was a clear alien bias in that list,
right? There was 4 or 5 from Alien. So yeah, there was
no Star Wars in that list either.
Yes, there was.
There was. Oh, Akbar. Yeah, that was the first one. One Star Wars, one Star Trek, and that's it. The rest is all Alien. I was surprised to see all the video game references in there.
Yeah, with Halo and Mass Effect, definitely.
No
Yeah.
Samus Aran. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Samus would have been a good one. But I guess the unfunny Jack O'Neill made the list for Stargate.
Interesting that they chose to use Buck instead of one of the Spartans.
True, yeah.
But better using him than Locke, and that would have pissed a few people off.
I did like, though, Kevin Flynn. That's the user, the one and only.
I fight for the users.
That's Tron.
Yeah, I know. That's the reference.
It actually would have been good to have. It would have been better to have Clue.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Yes.
Starship Troopers is the only film that I forgive for deviating so far from the book, just because it's such a fun film.
Oh, it is.
There's absolutely nothing like the damn book.
I have to wonder if the guy who did The Fifth Element also did Starship Troopers. I haven't really ever looked, but they have that same action comedy vibe.
Paul Verhoeven.
That's definitely not the guy from. That's not the guy who directed Fifth Element.
Yeah, Verhoeven kind of misunderstood the entire premise. He thought that Heinlein was going for a fascist vibe with the Terran Federation, which wasn't the case at all.
I mean, let's be honest. Any uniformed organization kind of has that vibe going on. Period. Like, at least in their uniforms.
Dia, Locke isn't dead, but I don't think we'd care either way. I managed to play through Halo 5 over the holidays, and yeah, he's alive, just not present.
Yeah, Locke isn't dead.
All right, so that leaves off our topics. Let's get to the big one for the night. Greg, what were you watching this week?
Ah, yes, the most important topic. So, of course, watching Boba Fett, Star Trek Prodigy. Finally, I'm happy that Leia and I will be able to finish one of our favorite series now that we found the English dub versions. Attack on Titan, its final season, season 4, has been half done. They are now finally releasing the last part of season 4. And if you're a fan of that show, season 4 is going to kick you in the nuts. With alliances you didn't see coming, betrayals that you should have seen coming, and I got to give credit for how they really adapted from the manga 100%. That it's turning out really great. So we will get to finish that finally.
Is that it?
That's it. Yeah, we've been focusing on just on that.
Well, I've only seen the first season, so it's a good one to get stuck with.
We did watch Eternals. Eternals came on to Disney Plus. We finally finished it, and I will say this about it: it gets so much undeserved flack. I find it to be one of the better Marvel movies of the last few years. I will give it. But yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed Eternals. Leia actually came into this movie not wanting to like it. She ended up liking the movie, especially after having 2 Game of Thrones actors in it, one who should have been dead and one with a red wedding. But
it's got Angelina Jolie. I'm good.
As a blonde, which I'm okay with.
Yep.
But I did, like I said, we thoroughly enjoyed it. The end credits scene, I lost my giddy little. I went giddy. I'm sorry. Have you seen it, Ross? Son, have you? Or
not yet?
Not yet. Okay, so I don't want to spoil the end credits.
I've got a long weekend, so I might get to it.
It's Ross. It is 2.5 hours of movie time, not including the credits. So be ready. But the end credit scene, just obviously get past the mid credit scenes, cool. But the end credit scene, you hear a voice that is unmistakable, and yeah.
All right, sweet. Thank you, Greg. Son, what have you been watching this week?
So I've finally gotten to the last episode. I haven't watched it yet, but I've gotten to the last episode of the first season of Leia Remini's series
Oh, and
on
Scientology. Yes.
solid Scientology, and God, I'm glad these last two episodes exist because they're literally fucking breather episodes before starting season 2. But holy shit, it's still hard to watch, even being breather episodes. Outside of that, I kind of didn't know a thing that was going on over the holidays, and so kind of dove into the explanation of the drama going on between V Shoujo and one Nux Taku, who's been a friend of all of the V Shoujo VTubers for quite a long time. And it turns out that V Shoujo made some pretty obvious mistakes, like not securing the other dot domains for their website. So much so that vshoujo.net and vshoujo.org had been scooped up by a couple of scammers trying to fish for other VTubers' personal details. And this was found out by Nux Taku because the scam artists reached out to him specifically with the same promotion that they were doing to other VTubers. Hey, we'd like you to join VShoujo. So he started working with, he contacted them to say this was going on and basically made a PSA video covering that this was going on. Well, it seems like the company and the people behind the company at VShoujo, specifically one Nyanners, didn't take too kindly to, realizing that they'd screwed up. So the moment that this video was posted, the VTuber Nyanners goes on a fucking tirade in her Discord server, to which Silverveil, Iron Mouse, and Fruit, Snuffy, and I think to a smaller extent Zentreya, all dogpiled on Nux with just outright fucking lies about, we told you not to post this video. When all the receipts are from the VShoujo security expert saying, hey, we're okay with you posting this video. Could you edit it here and there and there? And other than that, we're fine with it. And it's just been kind of this slow roll down the hill of VShoujo experiencing the Streisand effect.
Oh boy.
Of having egg on their face, trying to hide that egg, going after the people who've exposed that egg, and then, Streisand effect occurring. And it's not pretty looking. It's not pretty looking, and it's not pretty looking for any of the VTubers who were involved in it.
That is a shame.
And the worst part of all of this is the one VTuber who actually has a history of doing shit like this, like going off on people behind the scenes and causing drama and shit, is not involved in this whatsoever. Because Project Melody was literally on holiday in Japan when all this shit was going on. And Melody is the one who has a history of doing shit like this to other VTubers. So this has been just weird as hell. And a lot of people are leaving VShoujo viewership. And I don't blame them at all. The worst part of all of this is that the dogpiling that a bunch of the other mascots, I guess you could say, of VShoujo their responses were consistently uniform to the point that it seemed like it was management telling them to say these things, which I wouldn't put it past. Like that's the same ethics that govern a bunch of the Japanese companies as well. If the company has a stance, all of the talent has to have the same stance.
Oh, that's not just VTubers. That's pretty much any kind of major talent agency, like the WWE. They've had a couple controversies in China, and their talent have had to come out and make non-apology statements to try and smooth things over.
Yeah.
John Cena did one a couple months back.
Oh God, because he
Yeah.
referred to Taiwan as a country,
Which it is.
Which it is, yes.
Yeah,
But not according to the
China.
PRC, and not wanting to jeopardize their business there, they made him make a statement.
Which, by the way, for the folks, since we're talking about John Cena real quick, Peacemaker, first 3 episodes, HBO Max, it is out now.
Yep.
I watched. So I was watching that, and Nux eventually made a quote unquote apology video, to say that he was taking down the video, and that he was sorry and I genuinely think he was apologizing just to get back in good graces with his friends more than making peace with V Shoujo as a company, right?
Yeah.
Because at the same time that he's making this apology video, he is releasing even more and more damning information from V Shoujo as a company. And it just kind of throws even more egg on their face. They actually respond to this, like saying that all of this stuff is untrue, but their evidence literally proves Nux correct. It's like what are, you're saying one thing, but the evidence you provide is literally the opposite. What are you doing, Shoujo? So that was a hell of a rabbit hole to go down this week. Holy crap.
All right. Well, thank you, son. Let's hope things improve, or at least don't get any worse.
Yeah, especially considering this is supposed to be the first U.S. based talent agency for VTubers. This is supposed to be the standard for we're independent. We're independent. We don't have the same restrictions that the Japanese companies do.
Talent owned too, right?
Yeah, and this happens. Like all of this stuff happening goes against all of the promotion for V Shoujo promoting itself as a talent owned. We can do, we can get away with things that the Japanese people can't. The Japanese companies can't.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, this is literally lockstep for all the shit that HoloLive does when it gets in trouble.
Well, we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Yeah.
As for me, my week has been completely dominated by Awesome Games Done Quick. The winter event for the Games Done Quick, a video game speed running organization that raises money for charity. Twice a year, they hold events, Awesome Games Done Quick in the winter, Summer Games Done Quick in the summer. The summer event benefits Doctors Without Borders. The winter event benefits the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Currently, the marathon, which started last Sunday, has raised $3,112,456 for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. And they are only a few $100,000 away, or actually a few 10,000 away from breaking last year's record. It has been an insane marathon to watch this year. Some of the highlights was a completely blindfolded run of Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. He did it in less than 2 hours. There have been a host of races in games like Super Mario Brothers, ROM hacks like Super Casio Brothers, It's been an insane week. Just today, they did a Tetris the Grandmasters collection. It's just incredibly high level play in Tetris. The races have all been just so much fun to watch. The skill and amount of practice and time investment that some of these players make into these games is phenomenal to see, and the hosts have all been really entertaining to watch. If you get a chance to catch these events live, I highly recommend it, even if you just watch a little bit here and there. Listening to the players, the runners go through their processes and the amount of tech that they have to go into, their knowledge of not only the game itself, but how the game behaves, how the code is structured, how they get around different events, and new things are being come up with in these games all the time. We actually covered one of the major skips that it was reintroduced just this year to Metal Gear Solid, which is the game that's being run right now, discovered by a casual player, someone who wasn't even trying to speedrun the game. She was just trying to get through the game normally, and has cut down the time of some of the categories for Metal Gear Solid by 30 minutes, which is incredible. Most new tech that is discovered only saves several seconds at a time. So it's really exciting to follow and see what these players are doing to further break these games to complete them even faster. And it's also a very positive event. It's really something that can give you hope for the future when what you look around and you just see darkness. There is light out there if you look for it. So they've still got about half an hour left in this run or so. So if you want to catch the last bit of it, game's done quick.
I just like that you corrected yourself before you had a Freudian slip at the start of this. You almost said awesome dick done quick. You almost said it. You stopped yourself before you said dick.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Anyway, that will conclude this episode of The Real Super Geeks. Holy shit, we're under 2 hours. That's fucking awesome.
Thanks, Justin. Oh, shit.
I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend and a great start to your week. We're glad to have you here. We hope to see you again next week. And until next time, remember to live, to love, and to play every day. Son.
Remember, sweeties, you are loved and appreciated by just your being you.
And I'm the one who has to play us out. Let's see if I can find it.
Uh-oh.
I don't know where it is.
Play the Peacemaker intro.
I'm not doing something that could get us demonetized.
If it's labeled, it should say Blue Oyster.
Blue Oyster? I don't see a Blue Oyster. I see this.
Nope.
If you ever want to,
I know that's not it.
One of the more disturbing things
I see that's
yes.
That's Deadpool.
Yeah, I know. There's this.
That's the cat.
Yep, that's the kitty. Okay, Lane with a fez. That ain't it. Nope.
Ross is definitely not 100% right now.
No, because I don't know this. I don't know any of this. This is Justin's deal. It's all videos. I don't see sounds. I don't see any sounds.
Our outros are never usually this rough, guys.
It's possible that Justin has it on a separate sound like board or folder or something.
Probably.
Hey, look, I got the
well, in that case, I will simply end the broadcast. Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Night, everyone.